Welcome back on our series on creating an intentional living space. So this is part 3 of that series. So if you haven't already watched part 1 and 2, I do highly recommend that you go back and watch that. That way you can kind of see what an intentional living space is and then how to start preparing your space for the intentions we want to bring to it. So if you've made it this far, that means you've already learned the importance of an intentional, mindful home. You've already done your prep work and you've already kind of established the vibe. So good job on that. Now it's time for the fun part, which is finding pieces that truly fit your space, your lifestyle, and your heart. So let's get into it. First part, what to look for. So when you're choosing your items for your home, I do want you to go back to that intentional criteria that you developed earlier on when we were doing our prep work to select your pieces. So you don't have to find pieces that look exactly the same, but I do want you to try to stick, at least a little closer together, or at least have them kind of all fit in the same realm, just because you want a cohesive space. You could have different colors, you can have different patterns and textures, but it does need to look cohesive so that it looks calm and stable. You don't want things kind of all over the place. Now, if that is what makes you calm and that's what you want for your intentional life, you by all means do that. But I know for me and many others, having a space that flows together is a lot more easy for the mind and will be more relaxing for your body, which is what you need for your intentional living space, because that's where you're going to be kind of chilling and recharging your batteries. So a couple of questions that I want you to ask yourself when you're selecting each piece. So first question, does this piece serve a purpose? Second, does it bring me joy? And then third, does it align with the feeling that I want my space to have? So my first question kind of goes into my second kind of topic that I want to talk about. So I won't go quite into that just yet, but I will talk about does it bring me joy? Second topic, I kind of want you to look at multifunctional furniture. So one of the best ways to stay budget friendly and intentional is to look for a multifunctional piece. So for example, a coffee table with hidden storage, a futon that kind of converts into a guest bed, or an ottoman that kind of opens up so that you can store blankets and pillows in there. These pieces make your space more functional without adding clutter. Intentional design doesn't always mean more. It often means a better use of what you already have. So I really think that this is important because for one of my values in my home is that I want it to be a very comforting place for my friends and family to be able to kind of take a load off and recharge their batteries, with me. So I try to have a lot of blankets, but I need places to store those blankets, and you only have so much closet space. So I really try to pick pieces that have like little hidden cubbies or kind of break apart so that you can put things into it. So that's kind of an example of how you could use that. Also, if you wanted a futon that doubles as a guest bed, if you like having slumber parties and that's what brings you joy, that's what recharges your batteries, and you don't necessarily have enough room for all your friends in your guest bed or in your bed, you could also just kind of have a futon that doubles as a guest bed. That way you don't have to have people sleeping on the floor. Not that some people don't mind that. I wouldn't mind that, but some people it is a factor because of like health reasons with their back and things like that. So I think it's an important thing to pay attention to. So my next point kind of goes along with the question, does it bring me joy? I want you to be very mindful when you're decorating. So when it comes to decorating, focus on meaning over excess. So what do I mean by that? You don't have to fill every single corner in your home. And it's crazy that I'm saying that because I used to be a person that was like that. I don't like empty spaces a lot. It kind of makes me a little nervous. Don't know why. You don't have to fill every corner. Your goal is to create a space that feels peaceful and personal. I want to encourage you to find pieces that do that. I tend to collect a lot of knickknacks, if you haven't noticed, but lately, or in the past couple of years, I've been trying to collect things that mean a lot to me. So I really, really love Kiki's delivery service. So you'll see I have like a Kiki shelf here. Love Hello Kitty, as you can see. So I try to pick pieces that kind of express that. And in my little computer zone where I kind of film and play games and things like that, I do like to have lots of bright colors because there's usually a lot of lights going on in here, noises, sounds, just to kind of enhance my gameplay or even just when I'm recording. So I like things that are kind of pastel colored. This is just an example. You do not have to follow what I do, but just try to be mindful on what you're putting instead of just grabbing a bunch of things and just throwing it in your space and being like, yep, this is what I want. Another thing that kind of ties into that is try to decorate slowly. You can give yourself time to kind of see how a piece fits in a space, maybe keep it there a couple of days, see how you feel about it, because you never know if you're going to just kind of change, if your mood's going to change and you're going to want something in a different place or think that something is hung not in such a, creative way for your space. Kind of gives your brain time to kind of recalibrate to the changes that you've made in your environment. Another quick tip that I kind of want to just throw in here is please take a look at the Life-Changing Magic of Tidying Up by Marie Kondo. She had this huge Netflix series where she teaches you how to live an intentional, kind of be intentional with your items and folding them a certain way and storing them a certain way. It's kind of the same idea, just being intentional and being mindful about where you're placing things and how you're storing them and keeping things that only spark joy. So that will kind of keep you on track. I think it's a really good tool to keep you on track as far as being more mindful and choosing meaning over excess. And then that also kind of goes along with the question, does it align with the feeling I want my space to have? So hopefully that tool will help you. Next, let's kind of get into the more exciting part, where to shop. So we need to find affordable and also meaningful pieces. So my first stop would obviously be a thrift shop. Now, I don't know where you are, but where I am, there's tons of thrift shops, tons of places to explore. I do recommend kind of waiting before you buy something. So what I would do is I would make a schedule of probably like 3 thrift shops I wanted to visit in a day in close range, and then take a little notepad with me, or you can use the notes app on your phone to take pictures and of the things that you like in the thrift stores. Don't make a purchase just yet because you never know if you're going to go to a next store and find something that would absolutely fit the bill for what you're looking for. So I like to just kind of wait before I purchase. Now, don't get me wrong, if you find something and you're like, yes, I want it, please buy it, because I would hate for you to try to wait to get that when you know your heart likes it and it sparks that joy like Marie Kondo is going to teach you. And then you come back and it's not there. That would be heartbreaking. And I don't want to hear stories about that. So if you know you're like, oh yeah, this does it for me, just buy it. But I like to just kind of give myself time because I tend to be a little impulsive. So I need that time for my brain to kind of catch up and be like, do we really need this? Does this really fit the vibe that we're trying to go for? But yeah, you can often find very unique, high quality items at a thrift shop. So take a look around where you live and just kind of make a list of places that you'd want to go to. And I'd say starting off from there, try to find the pieces that you like. A second resource that I use is Facebook Marketplace. So it's a really great option for gently used pieces and decor. Plus you can see the exact location of where you need to go, and then you can kind of style pieces a little bit better just because you can take a picture of the item, you could take a screenshot of the item and then put it with another screenshot of another item and just kind of see if they kind of flow together and make a little vision chart. That is another way. And then also sometimes you can just put in keywords for the vibe that you're looking for. Like sometimes I think one of my keywords is Japanese, just because I like finding like Asian, Japanese kind of items to put in my home. I really like the style. So you can put a little search kind of alert on Facebook Marketplace to kind of ping you when certain items are posted that fit that bill. That way you can always stay ready and you'll be able to be one of the first people to look at that item and see if it fits your space. Now, finding items may take a little bit more time this way, but I think it is truly the most intentional way to kind of go about things, because you literally have to wait for the seller to respond to you. You have to wait to get the date to kind of go pick it up. You have to wait to pay them. So it's kind of more of a waiting game, and it helps me in my impulsiveness and making split decisions and then coming home with the item and being like, well, this actually doesn't fit my space. So that's a really good option. Another great option is a church or community sale. So usually on Saturdays, Sundays, there's yard sales that are going along. I really like going to churches and just taking my time and looking through everything, especially with a friend, because that is just prime time friendship building time. Or a yard sale, just because you can find the best hidden gems at these places. You can find anything from vintage furniture to beautiful handmade decor at incredibly low prices. I know one time me and my best friend, we were out looking for baby stuff because she was pregnant, and we did find some stuff, but one particular house that we didn't even really want to stop at because it looked a little creepy. We had our husbands with us, and we were like, let's just go. So we went up there and we found, I think all four of us got these really nice, looked brand spanking new London Fog trench coat jackets. And oh my gosh, I was so happy. They sold it to us for such a low price. And a vintage piece like that, if you'd found it at like a vintage store, would be crazy expensive. So don't sleep on the yard sales. Don't do it, especially like neighborhood yard sales. Those are really good ones. And you can also find neighborhood yard sales or just people's yard sales on Facebook Marketplace, because they'll often post them. And there's also some groups that you can look at to find them as well. So all of that is to say that I want you to remember that intentional living doesn't mean buying new. It means choosing well. So that's pretty much how I approach shopping intentionally, by focusing on function, meaning, and sustainability. Your home doesn't have to be perfect or expensive to feel peaceful. It just needs you in it. So in the next part of the series, we'll talk about how to kind of arrange and style your space so everything flows together naturally. If you really enjoyed this, I do encourage you to kind of keep on with this series. I'll be posting every week. Please feel free to check out my other videos to kind of help you on your intentional living journey as well. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye!